Yeah, this particular quake is further offshore, and it's what we call a strike-slip quake. And it's where you have more of a horizontal movement between the two sides of the fault. So you don't involve nearly as much vertical movement, and therefore less water is displaced possibly in a quake like this, although it could still, you know, be a tsunamigenic type quake. I think that.
All right. So, Randy, just if I could ask you briefly, I understand that the quake is supposed to, the tsunami rather, will hit the shores at various times, as we've heard. My question is, how fast do the waves travel, and who is going to be hit first?
Well, if you were to just take the closest spot shoreward from where the location of the earthquake is, that would be in the northern Sumatra and in the Banda Aceh area.
Okay, so Indonesia then would be hit first. Thank you very much, Randy, for speaking to us. Randy Baldwin of the U.S. Geological Survey on the line there with us. Let's bring in Al Jazeera's Sharina Hasibuan, who's standing by in the Indonesian capital, Jakarta. Hasina, the Indonesian president saying apparently that there is no tsunami threat yet, but that they are on alert.
Yes, they're on alert. The National Disaster Agency just sent out text messages saying that from their observations in several coasts around Aceh, the situations of the sea is normal. So so far there's no indication that there's going to be tsunami, but then they're asking the people to stay alert.
Right. And of course this brings back in to memory the 2004 tsunami, Sirina, in which more than 200,000 people were killed across the region, but mostly in Indonesia. We've seen the pictures there out of Indonesia with the people panicked, scenes of panics and so on. How are they handling all this? I mean, are they better prepared than they were in 2004, you think?
They should be better prepared right now. I mean, we've several stories about this. Well, there's some trainings for tsunami trainings in Aceh, where people are pointed out, you know, the evacuation route, and then there are buildings built around the Aceh coast where people can run to when they're quite far away from the hills. So they should be more prepared now compared to before, of course. But then, of course, the panic is huge, and then most of them just their cars and motorbikes, and then just try to run to the high ground, and then that's probably would cause traffic accidents, which we don't want.
And of course, the concern also is, you know, if this tsunami does strike Aceh, the concern will be how to get there, because it's an area that's very difficult to access, isn't it?
In the tsunami of 2000, it took us about 2 days to actually get to Aceh, and then the situation, everything was shut down. We couldn't get in touch with everyone there. So it is a good sign that about like 30 minutes, well, pretty soon after the earthquake, we can actually find out the situation there. We can actually see live pictures from Aceh and around. Right now, that's a very good sign.
Well, Reuters news agency, Sirina, reporting that Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency saying that there's no detection of low tide that would indicate a tsunami in Aceh. So perhaps some good news here, but of course we'll have to wait and see how the situation develops in the next few hours. Thank you very much for the time being, Sirina. Again, if you're just joining us here on Al Jazeera, breaking news, and we're covering, of course, the developments out of Indonesia, where a major earthquake has been recorded off the coast of Indonesia, measuring a magnitude 8.7. A tsunami watch has been activated for the entire Indian Ocean region, including Indonesia, Malaysia, as well as India. Thailand has also issued a tsunami warning. Let's speak to Al Jazeera's Ayla Callan, who is in the Thai capital, Bangkok. Ayla, tell us about the situation where you are.
Well, we're hearing that in some of those southern provinces, particularly the holiday islands of Phuket and Krabi, there are now tsunami alerts sounding. Thailand is quite prepared for this. They hold drills regularly to be able to get tourists to evacuate to higher areas, and also the residents in those areas. We're hearing that the tsunami could hit those provinces. There are 6 that have been put on alert now. That's the latest information that we're getting, and it could hit any time in the next few minutes to the next hour in various areas along the Thai coast. Of course, the 2004 tsunami caused widespread destruction around those holiday islands. Some 5,000 people lost their lives. So there has been a quite advanced set of tsunami warning systems set up here in Thailand. I'm in the capital, Bangkok, and you might be able to see some of the larger buildings behind me. When the quake actually hit, some people actually even left those buildings because they could feel the intensity of the quake. Various experts are now appearing on Thai television talking about the time that a possible quake could in fact hit, talking about whether the quake is vertical or horizontal and what amount of damage that could cause and what effect that could have. But it appears that this is a smaller quake than the one from 2004 and that it's located further off the coast of Aceh. So it remains to be seen whether there will be any damage at the moment. Certainly Thailand is on alert. We're hearing that the Phuket airport has been temporarily closed. That is of course right on the coastline, and it was closed during the 2004 tsunami and it's closed now as a precaution. We're also hearing that perhaps the Thai Navy will be sending some ships to the Andaman Islands, which are of course closer to the tsunami warning as well. So a lot of lots of information coming in. There is quite a sense of panic among some people here in Thailand. The phone network, for example, is quite overloaded at the moment with people checking that loved ones and friends and relatives are okay. So we're just waiting to see what will happen now. But Thailand does have a rather advanced set of tsunami warning procedures, which they practice quite regularly.
Okay, Ayla Callan in Bangkok, thank you very much for speaking to us. Ayla telling us that 6 provinces in Thailand are on alert after a tsunami warning was issued for the entire Indian Ocean region. This comes after an earthquake measuring 8.7 on the magnitude 8.7 magnitude struck off the coast of Indonesia in Aceh. The depth of the earthquake is reported to be at 33 kilometers. We've got our weather presenter Kevin Carver in the studio with us, also following this developing story out of the Indian Ocean island region. Kevin, a depth of 33 kilometers, what does that mean exactly as far as the impact? What sort of impact could it cause?
The shallower the earthquake, whether it's on land or whether it's in the water, the shallower, the more, the greater the possibility for damage, or, of course, more water will displace closer to the surface of the ocean. So 33 kilometers is fairly shallow. That's one thing we're going to be watching. One good thing with this is that people are getting phone messages from these locations that we should have seen already.
They certainly seem to be better prepared. It
Yes.
may be too early to see what the full impact is going to be, but they seem to be better prepared. Kevin, tell us more about the region. Indonesia, of course, sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. It's a zone of major seismic activity, isn't it?
Absolutely. In this area, of course, with the 2004 earthquake, we're talking about the same plates. The Australian plate, the Indian plate, together, they move quite a bit. And there's several different types of movements. With the 2004 earthquake, we were talking about one plate going underneath the other plate and pushing water up to the surface.
This is the whole horizontal and vertical
Exactly.
aspect, right.
With this one, they're thinking it's more of a horizontal, so there's not much of a displacement of water. But of course, we don't know that yet, how much with the horizontal earthquake yet. So,
but all the countries facing the Indian Ocean would be affected.
Exactly.
As in 2004.
Exactly. And we're talking about the Nicobar Islands, which actually lost part of the islands, was